joined now by Mr. Brian Kennedy, who is a venue and security consultant here in El Paso. And Mr. Kennedy, there is so much talk about how this shooting could have happened. I think there's lots of people that are left wondering what went wrong up in Utah. And that leads me right into my first question. Where do you think, as a security consultant, watching all this footage back, where do you think they went wrong here?
You know, they did a lot of things right, and the problem is you have to be perfect. I think that I've been a proponent of having somebody do nothing but scan building tops and windows to see if there's a problem. It's not perfect. The guys who do it really right are the national guys. With a local event, it's hard. You
know, there was a couple articles that came out just recently over on NBC.com, local reports saying they had about 3,000 people there, only 6 police officers for 3,000 people. A lot of people saying there wasn't even any security checks when they came into the event. That seems like pretty standard stuff. We got to have more people, and we got to have checks when people come in.
You know, most of these problems can be solved with more badges. If you have more cops, if you have more checkpoints, and you've got to have a checkpoint in almost all large events nowadays.
Yeah, speaking of large events, what are those challenges? I mean, there are many when it comes to setting up something this big, and in that space, a very complicated, multi-dimensional space there. If you were setting this up, what kind of challenges do you see going to that area for that kind of an event?
You've got to set up your security as early as possible, where they've got to go through metal detectors. You've got to make sure people are safe coming in. You've got to make sure that you're checking them early, and sometimes even multiples. The other thing is you've got to have enough badges, both uniform and plainclothes, to kind of watch the crowd. And I think that 6 was way too few.
So for people that are going to an event like this, there are many like this, concerts, big events. What should people know? Because recently this has been happening, sadly, a lot. Butler, Pennsylvania, now this. You were on the Las Vegas case. That was another one of those big open-air events. What should people know, regular people, when they're going to this to stay safe?
The first thing is you have to expect that there will be a delay getting in, because security takes time. So that's the trade-off. Do we get people in quickly, or are we more secure? So be aware it's going to take a little while, and be aware of what's going on around you.
I also want to ask you one more question before we get out, if you don't mind. You are a former city representative. You are a former public face. How does an event like this, how does a scene like this make you feel, looking back on that time as a city representative? Does it rattle you at all to think about the times that you were out in public? What kind of feelings does that evoke?
City provides security for the mayor for a reason, because he's a high-profile individual. I think that anytime you're in the public eye, something like this will rattle you, because we've almost gotten to a culture of, you know, I hate that person, and you never know where it's going to go. And I think that that's going to be hard to twist. But yeah, it makes you think, and you stop to think, how many times was I in a crowd by myself?
That's good stuff. Mr. Kennedy, thank you very much for joining us here at KTSM 90. We really appreciate your time.